September the 11th, 9112001 is so significant because on that particular day, while 9/11 was occurring in New York, I was in my bed asleep. And the only thing that I could remember that was so profound is that as I was in the bed asleep, my husband was on his way going to Walmart. He had turned the radio on. And then he runs into the house yelling, "We're under attack." He simultaneously turns the TV on. He wakes me up. I'm awakened. I look at the TV and I'm literally watching what I was just dreaming, the events of 9/11. I remember the dream that was so profound because as this was going on, I was standing on a pier and I could see behind me the two tall buildings. And as I looked back, I immediately looked up and said, "What in the world?" And as I looked up, there was this doctor standing on my left-hand side because, anytime God speaks to us, if we're awake or in a dream, he speaks to us within our language. I am a nurse. But this doctor, when he took his hands up, he stretched them out. They turned into this bluish, whitish color wings. And I could see straight through the wings. So two things happened at the same time. I say, "What in the world?" Doctor's hand stretched, turned into wings. I'm looking through the wings, and then I could see the first plane hit the first building. And as I'm looking through the wings, I could see like this bluish, whitish color. It wasn't blue or white, but it was blue and white, but it was not a earthly color at all. And blue, as I did my research, stands for, it represents the heavens. So I could see the debris coming from the first building, hitting the umbrella, and under the umbrella, there were 7 men and 1 woman. And they were just standing there with the umbrella protecting them. At the same time, I'm praying for their protection. "Oh God, please protect them. God, please protect them." And then about a couple of seconds later, the scene switched where I could see people running. It was like pandemonium. I could see cars that were burned. There was paper flying in the air. I see people running from the building. I could hear the sirens from the fire trucks as they were going toward this huge calamity. And then out of all of that, I heard the Spirit of the Lord saying, "Tell my people I'm coming back. I'm coming back. All eyes are seeing now because of the cameras, but I'm coming back." And that is the point when my husband had awakened me, yelling, "We're under attack," and he turns the TV on. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, "Okay, God, I don't know what to do. I felt like I was there, but I don't know what to do." And I watched this for 7 days straight. At the end of the 7th day, I was compelled to go on a fast. At the end of the fast, which is now the 14th day, there was this urge again to turn the TV back on. And I didn't want to do it. I'm fussing. And as I'm fussing, I'm walking toward the television and click, and I catch the documentary 2020, which was in reference to 7 firemen and 1 woman who was in the stairwell. And they had gotten stuck when the building came down. And I'm watching them tell their story. And the main thing I remember mostly about the woman, the 7 firemen were white. The woman was black, but she had a prosthetic leg. And they were saying how they were staying with her because firemen, they just never leave. And they went step by step. And then when they were compelled to just stop and they felt this rumble, I guess the building had shifted, or maybe the second plane had, I'm not sure how that happened in reality, in real time. But as they were speaking, I knew they were the 7 and 1 under the umbrella that I was praying for in the dream. And then I heard this word "I," and I kept hearing "I," and I didn't know what to do with "I." So I grabbed my pencil and I wrote the letter "I." And from that came my very first prophetic piece. And that's when a poetic ministry was pretty much gifted, because I've never had the interest of writing poetry, always hated poetry all of my life because of my exposure. My exposure was mostly Shakespeare, Dickinson, Edgar Allan Poe, and these poets that were kind of like depressed, not realizing it was the gifting that God had allowed in me, a part of the prophetic gifting, to feel where a person's spirit is when they speak. Most of those poets I mentioned earlier, they just were kind of like on the dark side. They had issues, almost kind of suicidal. And that's why I hated the poetry. I put the two together with this spirit that I was feeling from those with the exposure I was feeling. And then that's why I didn't like the poetry. But then as time went on, the Lord explained and he showed me that it was a part of the gifting that he had already given me. And thus birthed a poetic ministry, Words for the Soul, Leaving You Whole.